Moon Club
So we'll,
podcast number
stop and go
213,
traffic,
YouTube
right?
version. The main podcast will start in about
So
8
now
minutes.
There's a couple stops, like boom, right in front of me, and we just tap them. Boop. Well, they were an Asian couple and the lady was pregnant. Not that their, race made a difference.
You didn't hit her and you didn't bump her. You rubbed
Because
her.
it was a,
And Robert's racing.
their, language barrier was a little bit different, and they really couldn't understand what I was saying, I really couldn't understand what they were saying.
So it just goes fisticuffs at that point.
I didn't want the police to be called. Well, the woman was pregnant, so they
So you pulled your dick out.
wanted the police to be called. And so
You pulled your dick out.
3 hours later,
You
we were
pulled your
back
dick
on
out?
our way. No, never.
No,
Not
that's how I
that
handle.
time.
That's how I handle a situation
Well,
like that. In most situations, probably not that one.
I was trying to be serious. I wouldn't want them to laugh. In your case,
I was just gonna wait for a punchline, and then I pulled my dick out.
And then I said, "What? No tip?"
Just a tip.
He's so crazy.
That's so crazy. Well, that's super
I haven't got a
good.
notification that we're live yet.
We're on YouTube. Not on
Oh,
Facebook.
okay, I got you.
It's super good.
We're having a simulcast tonight.
Gentlemen,
It's been simulcast.
I need you to bring it tonight, okay?
Yeah.
This has got to be the best Moon Club podcast ever.
It's already been rotten.
Okay.
Dude, I'll tell you one time in the cab, somebody goes, "Honey, it smells like you hit a skunk." And I'm like, I believe that I have. I believe that I have. Because, well, you would get it if you were here.
It's scratch and sniff, ladies and gentlemen. Scratch and sniff. How many people do you think actually went to the screen?
You know what? Sometimes you ever be watching something like a great movie and you can smell the grass or you can smell.
You ever be watching something?
You ever be, just sitting there and all of a sudden you want to, watch something?
Is that Andy Rooney?
Just making
You ever notice that I have hair growing out of my ears like crazy?
Dude, you know what? You know what's kind of funny? I've been watching this show called Ghosted, which is like another type of catfishing, where you just cut somebody off like on social media and like you just totally block them.
Well, that's like totally
sometimes-
opposite.
Yeah, it's like well sometimes
Not
they'll be-
another
yeah,
type of
No, it's like sometimes they'll be dating somebody for like 2 years and all of a sudden just done. And so I've been watching this show.
It's hard to do if you're living with somebody.
Right. Well, these people apparently weren't living with one another. Dude, you know what? That's the ultimate fucking Houdini ghost. When you can ghost somebody and live with them, it's you get home, your fucking records are gone.
Well, no, just
She
live
took
there
your fucking
and,
hoodie.
Change your.
They always steal the hoodie, Steve. I promise you, they do this. They always steal the hoodie.
Why don't you just give them the hoodie?
But anyway, so I've been
I
watching the
usually
show.
send them home with like a
Party.
hoodie or a sweatshirt or even like a hockey jersey. They really like that.
Sign it. Sign
Yeah,
it.
it's like a party gift.
She left her fucking cat too.
I mean, you let me
She left
stick
the
it
cat.
in every
She left the
hole.
cat.
You're getting a jersey to go home with, right?
Yeah. She left the cat and she knew better than to take the dog. I think these are lyrics.
If it was a country song.
The bitch, remember the bitch took the Ice Cube trade. Who, in True Lies?
Who does that?
Right.
Every country song is about three things: your boots coming off or on, smacking your bitch up or down, or
Finger in the butt.
I used to have like this routine that I told on stage, but I can't remember how it goes.
You know what? That's why I want to watch that movie Brokeback Mountain, because I'm curious about
That's
the whole.
why he wants to watch.
I'm curious about the whole cowboy thing.
I wish that I could quit you.
I can't quit you. So I heard.
I think you know what,
I think it actually goes, I wish I knew how to quit you or something like that.
dude. You guys,
I bet he did. He realized.
have you guys actually made it through that movie? No.
I have
Either.
never actually.
It's just it's not my cup of tea.
Not that I would.
I never even started.
I just
Hey,
don't
man.
like westerns.
Right.
I do like
I love westerns.
Donnie Darko though.
Yeah.
But
But dude,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
you know what? It's like what a daring thing as an actor to do. But if you're gonna make out with a dude, I guess you could do worse than Heath Ledger.
20, whatever, whenever that movie came out, it was.
It was
probably
cutting
after
edge,
six.
yeah. It was very.
But
edgy.
it was-
You're
it's
assuming
like-
that he had a problem with it.
It's social points at this point. Like being gay is points in your
Yeah,
column,
yeah.
in your favor.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Not that there's anything wrong with it.
I don't either.
To quote Jerry Seinfeld.
It's like
It's-
when we were kids, though.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
I mean, we just made fun of gay people because we didn't get it, right?
Right. Yeah, it's like, I don't know how many times I threw around that three-letter word that begins with F, and it's like I just think it's disgusting now.
Yeah, no. I agree that some of my behavior in my younger years was pretty reprehensible.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they
We didn't
refer
know, though.
to cigarettes in the UK.
If we kept thinking
right?
the same way,
Right.
then it would be wrong.
Yeah. In the UK, cigarette would be referred to as a fag.
Yeah,
Right.
and cunt is a term of endearment.
And I believe there's a South Park episode where, they didn't think anything of it. There's one where they didn't see race or color. So
I remember that one.
when people said something about race, they're like, what? And then they would call people like fags just as
MJ, you know who?
just to get rib them,
You know
Not
who?
that it had any sexual connotation.
You know who drops the C-bomb more than the English, using it as you said, a term of endearment? It's fucking Joe Rogan, dude. And you know how he means it? He means it the cunty way. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see
There's
what
no
you're
mistaking.
referring
He
to.
doesn't use it that much.
I think he did when Fleshlight was sponsoring him.
Yeah, but his podcast has become something different.
I know, dude. Everybody's listening right now.
When it was just him and Red Band,
Yeah.
it was different. It was fun though,
Yeah, it still is.
because Red Band was kind of like you. Like they'll be having a serious conversation, all of a sudden he'll just say something completely off topic.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
And dude, now people are going back and watching those fucking episodes with a fucking with like a microscope. You know what I'm saying?
Why, is your penis in there? Oh!
No, apparently Joe Rogan.
That's what you did there. I see.
Joe Rogan has already apologized for his last podcast.
I want to look into that.
He said I was wrong, and what he said was, I believe the people in Oregon are setting these fires on purpose. And he apologized for saying that. And there's people running around Oregon and they're fucking burning it up. And they're protesters. You know?
I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you.
We used to go down the railroad tracks and fucking throw like fucking rocks through windows, and you know what? There's something liberating about that. And we fucking just like.
Is your dog outside?
Don't think so.
Sounded like she was barking outside.
Dude, she's not gonna go down the steps unless she has to.
I heard a dog outside.
I did too. And it sounded like Lucy too.
Is that a squirrel?
Squirrel.
Yeah, I just seen it down.
All right, I've got 5:59. You guys ready to bring it?
Yeah.
It's already been brought in.
It's done been brought in already.
It's
And
one.
And I hope I didn't
Oh.
offend anybody in the UK when I referred to their cigarettes as fags.
They know.
Dude, you know what?
We're silly old cows anyhow.
And going live.
Dude, one of my good friends was saying we call
Blue
it.
Club Podcast 213. Facebook Live.
I doubt it.
Yo, you can never touch this, it's just too much substance. I broke through the chains, hit away with the cufflinks. You can make a scene, but to me, it's nothing. You never match with a breakthrough in fashion. I'll resist the fabric and bring it back surely. See you on the shore, you repping the wrong jersey. Now I mean, they on the wrong team. They could chase the screaming out cream. Lord deliver us, you know I ain't giving up. They just wanna live it up, I stretch off some 50 bucks. Instead of silly luck, I gotta keep it 100. Run it, clean how I done it. Get it, I operate like City Hall. Gotta put my city on. Didn't fit the first time, but I've been growing into it. Then I'll be
I'm good at Instagram directly now, but I'm having a problem.
rather not squat the kitty cars. Y'all can get your thinking on. Watch what you slipping
Yeah,
on.
you got
Girl,
Instagram
what you
direct
slipping
on your
Watch
options.
what you walking about.
Under your share options.
Making plenty sense. You living in the
Go hit share and there's an Instagram direct like this. I've never seen it. Watch party.
We're bringing it.
You can run on for a long
But I think we should all do something like watch party on that. That's very minimum, right?
on for a long time.
I usually do every time I try to have you know what.
Sooner or later, got to put you
Relations.
down. Sooner or later, got to put you down. Sooner or later, got to put you down. Don't tell that one-tongue liar. Don't tell that midnight rider. Tell the rebel of the gambler, the backbiter. Tell him the gonna cut you down. Tell them that God's gonna cut you down.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, live from MJ's Loft of Dreams apartment and worldwide on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, this is the Moon Club podcast with AJ, MJ, and SJ. The Moon Club will talk about anything under the moon. No subject will ever be taboo. This episode of the Moon Club podcast is brought to you by Realtor MJ Adelman, Bloomington Normal's premier realtor for the Jewett home selling team at Remax Rising. And I want to be your realtor, and I will out-hustle Buddy all day, every day, and double up on Sunday to prove it.
I've seen it happen.
It's the state of the moon, brother.
Stay the road is. Beautiful moon tonight.
It's a mini suit tonight.
It's yeah, kind of. It looks like a Papasan chair,
Oh, yeah.
and I want to sit in it.
It's got that little person hanging from the edge.
It's currently Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020. 6:02 p.m. The moon will come up at 12:54 p.m. Then we'll go down at 10:33 p.m. tomorrow. It's currently waxing crescent. It is 39% illuminated. It's 417,000 kilometers away from us. It's 6 days old, and it is a sign of Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, leave me be.
That is your state of the moon. Good evening, you lovely lunatics.
Took you a while to get through that. Are you having trouble over there?
A little bit.
What's going on? Come Friday night, I'm knocking somebody
Fuck out. You know what I'm saying?
the fuck out.
Come on, baby.
I do now. It took me a little bit, but I got it. I got it.
Remember, he didn't have no problem with the white girl saying, "Come on, baby."
Come on, baby.
All right.
I think he said, "Come on, babies," right? Come on, babies.
Come on,
Talking about
babies. Come on,
Hollywood
babies.
Nights, right?
Something like that.
I don't know. I'd like to remember stuff correct.
That was
Yeah, we would all
Nights,
like that.
right?
Harlem
Nights.
Nights. Harlem
Harlem
Nights,
Nights.
Yeah, which is kind of hard to like remember.
You know,
which one was it?
I watched this thing called the Timeline, and they have 1988, and they'll talk about the Rubik's Cube and different cultural things that happen, and then political things like Iran Contra or whatever. In 1988, they actually referenced Harlem Nights as like the movie that kind of defined that era. Because I know it definitely did for us.
Well, I'm gonna let everybody know, because MJ usually asks me. I'm fully illuminated.
Oh yeah.
I am flying high again, and
I was gonna get there eventually, but you're right. I slipped on that a little bit.
Steven,
and I am stuck thanks to Super Glue by Verano.
That's how you cut a promo,
Right.
You see that?
yep.
Remember that.
Steven, you look rested.
And you look well.
Wow.
Okay.
It's better to look than to
The
feel
weekly
good.
Jason Silva
That
is
is true.
called The New Normal,
That is true.
and this is very pertinent in what we're going through right now.
Kick him in the grill, Pete.
Host of Brain. What's up, guys? My name is Jason Silva. You guys might know me as the host of Brain Games on National Geographic.
You can't help
Channel
yourself,
on
can you,
CBS.
Jason?
Now,
You can't help
we
yourself.
live in disruptive times. The planet has been sidelined by a viral pandemic, and everything is up for grabs. We have an opportunity to reinvent how we live and reinvent how we work. Now, I believe the human condition is defined by our capacity to overcome any and all limitations and boundaries. I'm passionate about creativity and ingenuity and imagination. We will imagineer ourselves out of this
Started to watch
predicament.
Running.
These disruptive times are calling for massive reinvention. And so it begs the question, what is the future of work? What is the new normal? How do we live? How do we play? How do we work? How do we stay connected while being physically apart? What is the future of the online media? Do we need offices in the future? There are all these questions that are being asked and all these new answers that are being forged. But one thing that I know is that from disruption comes massive transformation, massive innovation, massive illumination. And while
illumination.
It may seem like the world is under a dark cloud. This too shall pass, and we shall learn from this. So let's have the conversation. Let's ask the difficult questions. Let's explore technological disruption and human ingenuity. Let's look at the pace of accelerating change. Let's examine what the future holds. How will healthcare be transformed? How will collaboration across distances be forged in new ways? How will remote work transform what it means to be productive? These are wonderful questions to ask, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys to find those answers. Cheers, guys.
All right, 100% full disclosure. I'm gonna let you know I didn't watch that before, and it's pretty pedestrian for Jason Silva. I think pretty mediocre.
You know what I took from it?
What? There's some stuff I want to unpack, but I'm just saying, as far as Jason
I can
Silva goes,
see how,
that was not one of his.
Up to par.
No, that's not.
I can see how our technology is moving us forward. It's going to benefit us tremendously, but at the same time, I can see people moving backwards as far as dependence and food sources. I can see like people with, you know, maybe getting 2 acres and raising like chickens and like they grow their own vegetables and becoming more kind of off the grid. But at the same time, the technology is moving forward. People, you know, it's like within the next 20 years, it won't be uncommon for somebody to live to be 200. And you know what?
I think people are leaving the big cities in
Yeah.
mass. Like there's a mass exodus of Los Angeles, probably most
Grabbing
of
a
the
couple
big
acres in North Carolina, you know?
Well, I mean, if you can afford it, I mean, to move, a lot of people are stuck where they're at. But I think this is going to mark a big change with how we go to work. I think a lot of people are going to just
Right.
work from home, and that kind of opens stuff up because you don't have to live in a city if you can work from home, right?
Right.
Like if I only have to be in the office once a week or once a month, then I will live 5 hours away from where I work.
Right.
It's going to change a lot of stuff. I see us like moving into, well, like Joe Rogan moved to Austin, right?
Right.
Which Austin is a pretty awesome city anyway.
Yeah.
But
Great music scene.
I thought it was funny how he did a podcast with Tim Kennedy.
Yeah.
And Tim Kennedy's I think I think he's an Army Ranger. Might have been a SEAL. I'm trying to I'm pretty sure he's an Army Ranger. If I'm wrong, I apologize.
And a
But
political
he's an all around
philosopher.
he's an all around badass UFC fighter.
Yeah.
Oh
No shit.
yeah. Oh yeah. He's done it all. And Tim Kennedy lives in Austin, and he was like I think the second or third guest on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast when it went to Spotify.
Dude, he's the dude that guys try to hook their girlfriend up
And
with.
he told Joe, he's like, well, you left Los Angeles, so don't move here and try to make here
Right.
like where you left, because we like it here, and you moved here for a reason, so, but, Los Angeles.
Welcome to the NBA.
Los Angeles is a fucking mess, man.
Yeah.
There's fucking
Yeah.
homeless.
Well, that's gonna continue to go on because that's all good and dandy working for home, people that do work at home, but in these huge office buildings, there are also tons of cleaners, there's tons of people that are
Oh, yeah.
contracted
Good point.
to do other stuff, maintenance,
Make sandwiches.
make
Right,
sandwiches, food
right.
service. These people are gonna be without work, and unfortunately, a lot of our lower class citizens or, on the lower tier are not as educated, even such as myself, skilled enough to work in, technology. Although I do think that technology will advance more than typing and actual visual
Right, but you know what?
stimulation. It'll be all, thought and verbal communication and so forth moving forward.
Right.
So that'll progress, and self-autonomous cars will make,
Right.
Other things more capable. But at the same time, there's gonna be them people that's gonna be outside the bubble looking in.
What do they call that when you get like the government gives you like a stipend to like live, so like a living wage or something?
Universal basic income.
Yeah, it's like, do you
UBI.
think we're moving that way?
Well, I think we'll have to, because I think a lot of those
Right.
jobs will be phased out, and we need to consider that. We need to be aware of,
Well, and it's just the companies getting richer and richer, and the poor people getting poorer and poorer.
unfortunately, it is. But we've got to find a way. And
You know,
I was never a proponent of universal basic income until I
Right.
heard Andy Yang talk about it. it might be
very
like
logical,
when,
yeah.
when these jobs start getting phased out, that might be the only way. You know, as a society, we can't just let people go hungry.
Right.
We can't. I mean, we're gonna have to figure this out.
Everybody go back to school, and we're gonna figure this out.
Well, I tell you what, I thumbed through some want ads and stuff, and jobs at $10 an hour. I mean, if you're supposed to support a family, I mean, it's hard enough to
Forget
support
about
one
Right, we
person,
gotta be hooking on the side.
You know,
Yeah.
and not that there's
The
anything
man wanted
wrong,
bacon bread.
you know, with people that's working for $10 an hour.
Hey,
and
how about this,
stuff, but
guys?
Hats off to you, because like Austin said, more than likely are working 2 jobs, sometimes even 3 jobs. You
And
could
10%
be a
of
mother.
that goes to
you know.
Astroglide.
In your case, 50.
You know, check this out. This is interesting. I just thought of this.
Okay, let's see.
Who would have predicted the failure of the shopping mall? They're dead. That type of
I wouldn't have, but I think some people probably could have, right?
right.
Like, okay, and let's go back even further, like downtown areas, like our own downtown Bloomington, like if you go back to the 50s, whatever, it was a thriving area, right?
And there was a Sears there.
And then the mall came and everybody left downtown,
Right, right.
And then through our lives, you know, I was born in
Downtown had its
1970,
dark period.
1970, 1971, like in the 80s, the mall was a place to be, right? You would go to the mall on a Saturday afternoon, like, what are you gonna do?
Pocket full of quarters.
Let's go to the mall.
Right.
Arcade.
You didn't really have anything to do, but you're gonna go to the mall, go to the
Break
arcade.
dance.
Oh, dude, and the
Prob-
downtown was
probably-
desolate. Remember the Metropole?
Right. But you're probably gonna see some of your friends, or you're gonna like, you know, hey, there's some girls over there, let's go talk, you know,
Right.
this whatever, at the mall. But that was the place to be. And now, what happened to the downtowns happened to the mall,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Mass exit of the mall, Bergner's sits empty,
Empty.
Sears sits empty, Kohl's is
Because you know,
still
I used to call
alive.
Walmart.
Macy's.
I used to call Walmart
Macy's, yeah.
a monster that eats other monsters like Sears and JCPenney and all those. So, and Walmart was a monster that ate monsters.
And then Amazon became the bigger fish.
Now, what do we call the
That's right,
monster
like
that's
Kohl's
eating
still
fucking the Walmarts? And that's Amazon. Yeah, they are the. It's almost like you do that thing up there where the little fish and then you get a bigger fish and then a bigger fish.
That's the reason why Kohl's around, because they partnered with Amazon. They can do a lot of returns through there.
Yeah, it's so convenient.
Yeah.
Like I had the flag thing right there. Like I bought one that was really big and it was I didn't know. Like what if it's a flagpole?
The
What do I
flag,
do?
yeah.
So I like
Dildo.
I boxed it back up. I hit return on Amazon. I printed a shipping label, put it on the box, took it to
Yeah.
Amazon. They're like, or took it to Kohl's. They're like, cool,
Thank you.
you're
Dude,
good.
you know what?
Like,
It's-
yeah, that's
it's-
all I had to do is just take it there and drop it off.
Dude, it's almost like you're like ordering anything you want in this world with a touch of a button, and somebody brings it to you the next day and hands it to you.
Yeah, or 2 days. But you know, Amazon has that.
Or 3 days if you don't want to pay the expedited shipping.
I got Amazon Prime, so I get
Right.
at least 2 days. A lot of times you're right. It is the
It's
next
like-
day.
it's like, can you
It's
imagine-
amazing. It's amazing. I order it before 4 o'clock in the shop. It shows up at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's like, check this out. It's like 10 years from now. It's like you'll be ordering it. It's like the drone will have it there within 5 minutes. You're gonna be like, 5 minutes. It's like I don't have fucking 5 minutes to wait on this flex capacitor.
You really wanted that flux capacitor.
Yeah.
And is it a flux or
Well,
flux?
we're going for girth,
Flux.
not
I
length.
think it's flux, and
Yeah,
it
both
is
of them.
what makes time travel possible.
Right.
By the way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't run your DeLorean without one.
No.
I mean, it's futile.
You get it up to 88,
Roads.
where we're going,
Who needs roads?
we don't need roads.
Remember that in
Yeah, that was back to
Knocked
Peter
Up.
Part 2.
no, but it was knocked up when Paul Rudd is talking with Seth Rogen. Roads. Who needs roads? Where we're going.
I don't remember that. But I only watched what Knocked Up once.
Remember when they? Okay, check.
It was alright.
Check
I'm
this
not
out.
gonna- I'm not
So
gonna
Paul
watch
Rudd
it
takes
over.
Seth Rogen
2 stars.
to
Yeah.
Circle A in Las Vegas, and they do mushrooms. And dude, they do some crazy
Cirque-
shit.
Cirque du Soleil.
I think it's Cirque
Cirque du Soleil.
du Soleil. I think is what it is in
Cirque
French.
du Soleil.
Does that translate Circus of Freaks?
But these are people that are committed to
It's
their craft.
Circus of the Lay.
Of the way?
You see, like that one person
That's a good.
rolling around on
good-
that big fucking like wire thing.
That reminds me of the Chris Farley joke when he's talking about El Nino. Is Spanish for the Nino.
It's little
I
boy,
mean,
isn't it?
when he did it, it was much better. But
Well, of course.
Isn't it little boy and La Nina is little girl?
the baby, I think it's just the baby. and La Nina is
Baby girl.
yeah, I don't know. The fuck do I know? I'm a fucking computer repairman.
Who speaks
And a real sword.
Spanish fluently, as long as it's those two words.
Yeah. Or SOS lo que ella dijo, which is that is what she said.
That is what she
No
said.
shit.
Yeah.
Or he also said, "Mas culo,
Dude,
por
you know what? We should
favor,"
turn that into a drinking
which
game.
means more butthole, please.
Right.
That's bad. That's bad.
You send your friend up to order at the bar, and you tell him that means I want another beer, and you say what? More
Mas
bottle, please?
culo, por
All right,
favor.
Padre, spread it on the butt cheeks. Do it. Do it.
All right. So, Dancing with the Stars premiered, I think, last week, right?
Yeah.
And Carol Baskin is a contestant.
Dude, I wonder if somebody funded these. I don't think these people were rich. I think Carol Baskin took all their money, all of it, and killed her fucking father.
Probably. But the living descendants of Carol Baskin's ex-husband, who she may or may not have murdered, I don't know. She may or may not have fed him to the tigers.
Kind of
But-
seems like it happened.
It seems like it. I mean, the way it was presented in The Tiger King, I would lean
Very
that way.
likely.
But at the same time, I will fully admit I'm watching a documentary. They can kind of lead you to believe whatever they want.
Yeah.
And I think they did kind of want you to believe that. I don't know what happened. It just seems like, yeah, she might have.
He dead. He gone. The tiger's fat.
I mean, there was one point in the documentary where they're like pulling out the will, and it said like if he dies or disappears, that she would get all the inheritance. And they showed it to a lawyer, and he's like, "Yeah, I've never seen the verbiage, or if he disappears in any living will at
Like
all."
he's fucking
Right,
Houdini or
right.
some shit.
Right.
BAM!
Dude, talk about suspect. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna play this?
Yeah. Okay, so this commercial aired during Dancing with the Stars, and this is the living descendants of Carol Baskin's
Okay, check this out.
ex-husband.
I know the origin of this video. They were backed up and sponsored by a major celebrity, and it was Kevin Spacey. Gave him $10 million to promote their what they say, and I was like, you know what? Good move, Kevin Spacey. Maybe you're not such a bad dude after all.
How would they need $10 million to post this?
Costs a lot of money to fucking show everybody the same shit at the same time.
Okay, we'll have Mindy fact check that, but I don't know. Kevin Spacey is probably still a horrible human being, though.
Yeah, I just made that up. He's a dick. I made all that up. Don't
I'm
fact check it
Gail,
this
one
time.
of Don Lewis's daughters. We are a real family, and to us, he was daddy.
I'm Linda, one of Don Lewis's daughters, and we miss our dad.
We go get her.
I'm Donna. I'm Don Lewis's oldest daughter. We need to know what happened to our father.
I'm Ann.
I gotta stop this for just a minute because I just noticed that Don Jones is watching on my watch party. So shout out to Don Jones.
What's
I
up,
love you,
Don
brother.
Jones?
What up,
Peace,
Don Jones?
brother?
It always takes the audio a minute to get.
Yeah.
Justice for Don.
Don Lewis mysteriously disappeared in 1997. His family deserves answers. They deserve justice. Do you know who did this or if Carol Baskin was involved?
A $100,000 reward has been funded. You can call the tip line at 646-450-6530.
Or call our office at 800-LITIGATE. Thank you.
Dude, there's like 6 of them, man.
They did not appear to be social distance.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, dude, there's like 6 people that were that concerned.
Now that I'm watching,
I
like,
say, like, go out and get some ski masks, get like $100 worth of stuff from fucking Lowe's, and go get this fucking bitch, and like,
now that I watched that video
yeah.
and all of his daughters complaining about him being gone, like, I'm glad that motherfucker's dead. I don't even care. That's a
What-
bunch of worthless human beings. I'm completely kidding. Okay?
Right.
I'm completely kidding.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not we hung out or
It
anything.
sucks that your dad's dead, and I hope you find out what happened for sure.
But I would have taken some action, like I said. I would have went out and got 5 ski masks and about $100 worth of shit from Lowe's.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a blowtorch, maybe one of those things you can cut with the curved blade that goes right there, and you.
Well, of course, you
Chop-
would ask Echo first.
Dude, you chop this finger up first. That's how you get information from somebody. And then
Oh
you-
yeah. After
and then,
that, he'll tell you if he wears women's underwear.
and then you put it around their thumb.
Why don't you just cut the ear off? I
Well,
find That's the best way
That's
to do it.
foreplay.
I'm pretty comfortable knowing that if Mindy ever like suicides me or disappears me, like Alex and Cassie.
No,
are gonna
it's not
figure that
suicide.
shit out.
It's ghosting.
Ghosting.
Yeah.
If she ever like, if Mindy ever like feeds me to tigers, I think
Yeah.
Alex and Cassie are gonna figure that shit out. They're gonna come after her. So I'm pretty
We
comfortable.
found MJ's DNA in this
I will
fucking
be
tiger.
vindicated.
In this tiger shit.
My children are living their own lives. They, you know, I could be fed to the tigers. They'd be like,
Like-
was Dad supposed to call?
Well, he'll probably show up tomorrow.
I hope. If not, woo-hoo!
Remember that guy Richie film where he's like,
Hello?
a big pig can consume 7 pounds of human flesh in 1 minute.
And then they'd be like, "Whoa, where's Dad's will? What do I get?"
Right.
Well, it's a good thing.
What
you have
about
that.
me?
It isn't fair.
I've had enough. Now I want my share. Can't
I got
you
2
see?
thumbs.
That
If you
was
want
nice.
in your butt, you better sit on it.
I think we did. Up until that part, I thought we brought it.
We were brought in it for sure.
Right.
It had been brought in.
Yeah, I mean, that was just fluid, man. It was like, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, we rocked it there.
But you just take more than you give.
But it's usually 2 thumbs up.
So let him spit up it. And now you can sit on
I had to let
it.
him do it, you know.
So you know that moment, you know, where you're getting ready to get down,
And you run it twice. Did I blow it?
and then
No, you did fine.
and then your girl like spits on it, and you're like, "Oh shit, it's going down
Right.
now."
No shit.
Then you know you picked up the right one.
Yeah,
Right.
and you're like, "Oh shit, this was a good investment." I mean, I bought her 2 rum and cokes at the bar, and now she's spitting on my cock.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
that's
like, dude, you know what they call? You know what they call that?
a good investment.
True romance.
I usually, is there a shot that has like a syrupy, you know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
a little bit thicker? Give her
Ready?
that one.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You ever have a girl stick a finger in your butt and you're like, you better, I'll give you 5 minutes to stop that?
You give them 5 minutes to stop? They got
Okay,
at least-
15 tops. but
Okay.
There you go.
I'm gonna
That's
paraphrase.
more believable.
Anything after that might
I'm
be
gonna
considered.
paraphrase one of my buddy Mike Gardner's jokes that I love so much about the first time a woman sticks a finger in your ass during sex. It's a lot like going through a yellow light. He's like driving along and like, oh shit. And then you look up and you see that the guy behind you went through too, and you're like, okay, well we're just gonna get there quicker now.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
that is paraphrased. That he does the joke
Well,
much
you know,
better.
dude,
but
you know, I used to drive
you
a
get
cab.
the thought,
I
right?
used to drive
Oh,
a cab
yeah.
12 hours a night, so I get that reference like wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? You keep pushing that fucking boundary. And
Yeah.
you know what? I actually had a fucking a Bloomington traffic cop tell me, 38 you're great, 39 you're mine. So that's what they gave us.
That actually added.
And
nothing
dude,
to
this is off the
conversation.
record though. I'm letting you two behind the curtain, and
Just us two.
This
all
is why
four
they
of
wear
you.
body cams now. I just want to let you know.
right?
That and shower scenes.
Yeah.
You know. One thing I was gonna say along the whole, you know, the butthole story. Well, I got a pretty interesting butthole story.
I gotta
I knew a couple
segue
that
to
used
this.
to party pretty hard, and one day
Wait,
after
I'm sorry. Say it, I didn't catch that. What
I
did
knew
you
a
do?
couple that used to party
Okay,
pretty
okay.
hard.
Sorry.
And I went over to the house one morning after they were partying hard. And my friend answered the door. His better half was still in the bedroom. She did not know I had arrived yet. And so I'm like, what's going on? You know, we're just shooting a small talk. All of a sudden, she comes out of the bedroom and throws a carrot at him. And is like, you son of a bitch! And then he's just busting up laughing. She was so drunk and passed out that he shoved a carrot up her ass. And she woke up with the fucking carrot up her ass.
That's true love.
Yeah.
That is true love. And I just happened to be right in the middle of it.
Dude,
and
you know
then
what,
she
you were
like
set
looked
up.
over and seen I was there.
Dude, you were set
you
up. You were set up.
know.
That could have really happened.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what? When he got out of the bed after the doorbell rang, and he's going to the door, it's like, hey,
He
let's-
wasn't at the bed.
and he's just like, hey, let's do the carrot bit.
It's not like he came out all wet dick.
Dude, we call that the carrot bit in the swinger scene.
Yeah.
Dude, we do it all the time.
You haven't been in a swing since 9 years old, Austin.
Right, dude, it's like, you know what's better than the carrot thing? And this is when you graduate to the eggplant bit.
You know what?
The eggplant.
I'll
He's
tie
bringing
this
it back
in.
to
I'll tie
eggplant.
this back
I know.
into a very relevant incident in our younger years. Is that I would say you haven't been on a swing since Brock Gurley's mother kicked the shit out of me on the playground.
Let me go get my nunchucks, Mom. No, Brock. Let me go get my nunchucks, Mom. All those hundreds of dollars worth of nunchuck
His
lessons.
mom kicked the shit out of me.
Right.
Like I mean, in today's world,
She
I
grabbed you
would've
by your
had-
ear.
I would have had like
You would
a
have punched
Her,
her.
you would have had her house.
yeah.
Her
Yeah,
house,
yeah.
her car, she'd have been waiting on you.
Yeah.
She'd have been coming
Dude, but you
up.
know what?
Your royal penis is clean, your
We were-
highness.
We were terrified of that woman because we never would have thought of raising our hand to a fucking, to like a grown ass
No, I
woman like
can't.
our mom.
There's nothing I can do.
Right.
Like
yes.
I'm just.
She
punching
grabbed you
hand.
by your ear and put you on your
and
knees.
here's the thing, I deserve that because I was
You were
an
bullying.
ass,
You
I
were
was an
bullying.
asshole to Brock, and I
Yeah,
never
you were
should have done
bullying
that.
him.
Brock Gurley, I'm sorry. That
And
was
his mom
fucked
called you
up
out
thing
on
to do.
You know,
His mom didn't call me out.
in
She
your
kicked the shit
defense,
out of me.
Yeah.
he's an
She
ass.
bullied me.
In your
Yeah.
defense, he's an ass.
Brock Gurley.
Dude, I think Mom did that to Monkey
Brock.
Brewer too. When Monkey.
I'd whoop Brock's ass right now.
Brock's a socially awkward dude, but I don't know much about him. I mean, he's probably a decent guy. I
You're
don't-
right, just kidding.
He's
we
a
love
cool
you,
dude.
Brock.
He's a cool dude.
I don't know.
Yeah. Austin obviously seen him in the swinging scene.
Right. Right.
Austin left a carrot in his ass overnight.
That's the old eggplant bit.
And guess what? It wasn't that tight, yo.
Uh-oh, two
What's
thumbs in the booty hole.
But you know what that?
Giving you the
it
phone.
doesn't matter. All right, so this is
On to the next.
Kanye West.
Oh, I love Kanye West.
Yeah, I want to see that gold.
I'm a huge fan of Kanye
Dude,
West.
I was wondering why that little cup was like that.
Now we talked about this. I don't know if that's a Grammy or an Emmy or what that
It's
is.
definitely not a Grammy.
It looks like
It's for sound, so I think it's an Emmy.
Billboard award or something. I don't know.
I think you make pickle bread out of it. Dildo.
You make pickle breads out of dildos? Maybe I don't understand how pickle bread works.
How do you make bread? Out of dough?
Yeah.
So if you had
Echo.
pickle bread, would it be made out of
Echo.
dildo?
What do you call the award for the music?
It took me a minute. Now I get it. Now I get it.
And now we are at
I don't know that.
2 minutes with Austin and
Would you like to
Echo.
hear a few things I can do?
Yeah, what do you do?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Echo, what do you call the music awards? Fucking bitch. Can you phrase it right for me?
Echo. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
All day.
Forever.
A woodchuck would chuck about 700 pounds of wood on a big
No,
heavy
no way a
balloon on
woodchuck
its
could do
back.
700 pounds. I could do
Oh
350.
yeah. No, a woodchuck could. Those motherfuckers are wood eating fucking.
Hey, you
savages.
woodchucks, quit chucking that wood! If a wood could chuck. If a woodchuck could chuck wood.
I love that commercial. Geico.
Yeah.
Hey, you woodchucks!
But back to Kanye West.
Yeah. Yee. Does he
I
call
believe
himself
it's a
Yee?
Grammy.
Or
Is it?
Yay?
I
What is
think
it,
he-
Yee?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a shock jock, right?
So his name is Kanye, but he calls himself Yee?
Well, that's when he goes to the old time events. The old time events.
Oh, okay. Like
What do they call those?
Yee.
Where they be LARPing and stuff?
Medieval
Medieval
times?
times?
Yee medieval times?
They'd be all like,
Does he really do that?
I don't know. I just love that.
We
from
don't
Cape
kill
Cod.
one of us. We both will die. The red team sucks.
Are you a fan of Mr. West?
Jim West? Wild
Kanye
West?
or
Desperado?
Kanye?
Rough Rider? No, you don't want none of this. Gunning this. Run of the game.
I'm a lyrical Jesse James.
No.
To be honest,
never
I
thought.
haven't listened to Kanye since the college dropout.
I don't know that I've ever listened to Kanye.
Maybe Gold Digger was the
That was
last
his.
song.
That was his.
Gold
That was his.
Digger, I did
Thriller
like Gold
album.
Digger.
Yeah.
I mean, he's off the rails right now. I think he has a serious. I think he needs
He's-
mental health.
Yeah, well, he's high on his own shit, right? I mean,
High on his own supply.
he's eating his own shit.
But
drinking his own
also,
piss.
You know, he's married to
Crazy
into that
crazy lady.
into
Right.
that family where there's all kinds of
He married
crazy
a reality
bitches
show.
going on. So I don't know. I think that shit wears on your mental health after a while. Maybe. I don't know. I do not know.
I do not know.
Have you ever? I think this is the last season of the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. You know, I think it's been like 20
Damn it.
20 years,
Wow.
something like that.
Seriously?
I don't know. I don't know.
And I have not.
I remember
yet
when
been
the-
able
when
to
the,
keep up with them.
I remember
I've got
when
some
her
catching up to
sisters
do.
were like this tall.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There was some footage back with the OJ trial, like where Kim was running around the backyard, just like
Right.
She was just like taking this big black hose and like smacking herself with it, and it's like,
She's
oh,
doing
this
that
is,
now.
Yeah, this is a
It's a
little
prequel.
foreshadowing of what's to come.
It's a
Right.
little
You know,
prequel.
check this out. Okay, it's like so. One of the Jenner girls is like worth $1
We
billion
brought it there.
now.
That was crazy.
Kylie.
Yeah, because she's a social influencer.
Yeah, I
And
was
it's like,
social influencer.
check this out,
She's super rich.
dude. Worth
got
$1 billion.
a lot of
Yeah, she's probably.
I think there's like $35 billion wrapped up in that whole family. You know what? None of this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the fucking murder of 2 innocent people.
Well, you don't know that.
No, I know it for sure. I know OJ killed fucking those 2 people, and I know Kardashian became famous. And then his daughters built on his famous empire and became
I
billionaires.
kind of think Kim Kardashian would have figured it out a way anyway.
No, dude, no.
Yeah, she
no.
would have. She would have. She's got
I
a
think
motor.
so.
She's very driven.
Yeah, so is Paris Hilton. You watch Paris that
If Paris Hilton had a thought in her head, it would die of loneliness.
I mean,
Kim
yeah, Paris Hilton.
Kardashian's, Kim Kardashian's a
That's
lot
hot.
smarter.
She's a
Now that's
hustler.
hot.
She's a hustler.
Yeah. Yeah. I reject the premise. I think Kim Kardashian would have found
Big
a way.
booty holes, stop
Dude, you
doing
know
it.
she was born with a big black cock in her mouth.
Well,
I meant
you
to
know-
say silver spoon.
You know what?
Did I say black
mean,
cock?
you talk about exploitation of children. Her mom released the sex tape with her and Ray J. Her mom did that shit.
Fucking soldier. Dude, that's what made her.
Yeah, I mean, at the time I would be like, yeah, mom, that's kind of fucked up. But if you look back on it, you're like, okay, well, it kind of worked out. Do the ends justify the means?
Well, if you listen real close, her mom says, "Look back at me."
Dude, check this out. Remember the
Act
number
like you
one?
want it. Act like you want it.
Dude, the number one song I think in like 1984, "Walk Like an Egyptian" by the Bangles. Okay, now that girl was so popular,
This
which
better be good.
it is good. Her mom was the manager of the band, the Bangles, and they did "Walk Like an Egyptian." Her mom also produced a movie called The Overnight or something with her daughter, and there was a nude scene in it for like 3 seconds. You got to see this girl's tits, and that movie was like one of the number one movies of the year.
What was it called?
The Overnighter or something. It's with the girl from the Bangles though.
All right, so
And her mom, her manager, actually produced that movie too.
we talked about this idea of like going along to get along, and like we give up some of our autonomy, some of our own free will, and this is a bunch of Black Lives Matter protesters walking down the streets of Los Angeles and demanding that people put their fists up with Black Power. All right, now
I had no problem with that.
there's so many issues with this, like mob action, mob mentality, go along to get along, giving up your autonomy. This woman that they're doing this to is actually a Black Lives Matter advocate. Like, she's worked for Black Lives Matter, and she's saying, hey, no, like what you're doing now is like, it's like mob mentality, and they're just like going after her. And this is what's wrong with groupthink and with mob action, and this is what's wrong with what's going on in America right now. Like, if you don't agree with everything we say, then you're part of the problem. And this is a huge problem. I don't think I can understate that too much, or overstate that too much.
Bless
First of all, she's just sitting there eating dinner, right? She's just at an outside restaurant eating dinner, and they're getting in her. Okay,
trying to mind the business.
I think Joe Rogan once said that you need these people because they're the white blood cells. You know what I'm saying? They let you know when it's too much. You know what I'm saying?
It goes on for a while, but I can't understate this enough, is that exactly what they're doing is what they're protesting, right?
Yeah, that's the white blood cell
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
right?
Right. Like you have to go along. You have to do what we're saying, or
It's almost like she's like, hey, I started this thing, and now it's starting to scare me.
Well, this is exactly what Nazi Germany was like in like 1938, right? You can't go against the party. You can't go against it.
There's a
right?
lot of countries like that.
Yeah.
A lot of monarchies,
You know,
Chinese,
the crazy thing about that was before that Germany was experiencing like extreme like poverty, and when Hitler came into control, everybody was prosperous, and they're like, okay, let's
Well,
follow
that's
this
because
guy.
after World War I, they had a lot of sanctions against them because they
Yeah.
basically started World War I, and then they basically started World War II because of the.
And then they built their industry.
But
They became incredibly rich.
hold on, Steve, you leave it up because this guy Douglas Murray kind of sums it up very well, and this was on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. When I heard this part of the podcast, I was like, oh yeah, he's exactly right. Right, this is exactly what's going on. So this is a couple minutes long, but it takes a while for him to get the point out. But when he does, I think everybody will know exactly what.
Dude, he's got the Anarchist Cookbook right back there.
Of course he does.
I'm comfortable as you can be in the end times, obviously, as everything's burning down and there's plagues of locusts coming our way. And I honestly urge other people to do the same. It's I can't say it's dandy, but it's a pretty good life. I mean, I have the satisfaction of knowing that I'm not lying. And for young people watching in particular, this is just one of the most important things, because, as I say somewhere in Madness of Crowds, the problem with being told, the problem with going along with being told to bend the knee, raise the fist, jump through the hoop, is that it demoralizes you. And it makes you a smaller person inside. You will be demoralized because you'll know that you shouldn't have done that, and at some level you will think badly of yourself for having done it. You'll feel regretful. You'll feel cowardly.
When I found out he was faking his accent, I punched him right in the fucking face.
And
I swear to God, I did.
the opposite is also true. The person who doesn't stand with the mob, the person who doesn't go along with the mob, the person who refuses to walk with the crowd, will feel quietly but significantly better about themselves, and I think will be a better person, and they will achieve more in their lives, whatever that is, because they will have self-respect. And that's what totalitarian movements across history always knew, was that you grind people down and make them agree to lies, because you will then be able to make them do anything. Now, there's this very, very telling thing that happened in the communist era in Eastern Europe. Václav Havel, great late Czech leader, says this. When he was one of the great Czech dissidents and playwrights of the period in the 60s and 70s, he wrote a piece once which is really worth reading again today,
back then, but
where
I'm not
he
picky.
cites the example of a greengrocer in Prague who has to put up in his window, like everyone else, the
You know what I'm
notice
saying?
that says, "Workers of the world, you."
Okay, since you're talking over it, I'll have to stop you. Yes, Czechoslovakia is a country. Czech is the nationality.
No. It's like Czechoslovakia was split into the Czech Republic
Okay,
and
just
Slovakia.
stop.
Like 1981.
Totalitarian movements across history always knew, was that you grind people down and make them agree to lies, because you will then be able to make them do anything. Now, there's this very, very telling thing that happened in the communist era in Eastern Europe. Václav Havel, great late Czech leader, says this. When he was one of the great Czech dissidents and playwrights of the period in the 60s and 70s, he wrote a piece once which is really worth reading again today, where he cites the example of a greengrocer in Prague who has to put up in his window, like everyone else, the notice that says, "Workers of the world, unite." And it's sent by party headquarters to all greengrocers, and you all have to hang it. And Václav Havel says a number of things happened from this. The first thing is that, of course, that the greengrocer is showing to everyone that he is a party loyalist and he wouldn't be able to operate
Does
as a
Hitler do
business
this?
if he didn't do this thing. But it also hangs there every day as a sign of his subjugation. It's a little thing, but it hangs there as a sign of his subjugation. And it reminds him that he's not the man he could be. Now, one of the results of that is that such a person ends up hating the people who make him hang the sign. Hates him.
Right.
Because they have demoralized him. But Havel's point, among others, is you think you're doing a little thing, but you're not. You are diminishing your soul by doing this. Because you know that you could be something more than the person who just has to hang whatever party headquarters tells you to hang this week.
Well said. Thank you. That's out.
All right.
Yeah, that
so
was dynamic. Is that Edwin Hubble?
no.
Okay.
But yeah, his point. Czechoslovakia, it's in a war-torn
Yeah.
region of, I guess, Eastern Europe, right? So they throughout the 1900s. I mean, that was a horrible place to be.
Yeah.
At times, it had times of stability, but
They still have no Disneyland.
Dude, you know what? Hitler built such a great army. He rolled through like Poland and Czechoslovakia easy. Then he rolled into France, and like, that's when the rest of the world are like, we gotta fucking like take note to this.
Well, that whole thing, and I've been watching, the Untold History of the United States
Yeah.
and all that, like, World War II, I mean, there was so much stuff going on. There was, like, the United States and Russia were, kind of like eyeing each other across the sea.
Right.
And then, they just kind of let Germany build up because, and I think the United States was complicit in that because they're like, well, Germany's going to go after Russia. Why should we do anything?
Right?
We
You
should
know,
not
it's
do
like, you know what? I think it was the perfect
France
combination
couldn't
of.
do anything because their whole male population was wiped out in World War I.
Right.
They had like old men and they had young men. They didn't have anybody like what would have been like
Okay.
between 30 and
Check this
50,
out.
right? They were all dead.
Dude,
They all died. All the men
Dude.
died in World War I.
I think Germany realized that they could flex nuts, and you know what gangsters do? They don't have to flex nuts because real gangsters know that they do. But you know what? Germany was, they had the technology with their ships. They had a great navy. They had a great air force, and plus, you know what else they described that they discovered around the same time was
Germany
meth.
didn't have a navy, first of all.
No, it's like, dude, they had methamphetamines. And Hitler was the first person to use methamphetamines as a fucking agent with his own people. It's like you can fly fucking thousands and thousands, stay up for days with methamphetamines. And I swear to God, Hitler's the one that fucking used methamphetamines to his advantage, without a doubt.
Okay. So, yeah, a little bit of revisionist
And a lot
history.
of college students.
Yeah. So, yeah, the UK had naval supremacy over that whole area. I don't think Germany had much.
Okay,
much
you
of
know
a
what?
navy.
I might have misspoken when I said that. Yeah, I think you're right.
You did.
Because they're a landlocked country.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
But
do
they
with the Navy?
did have air superiority, and they were able to like bomb England from afar. And
Dude, you know what?
They bombed the shit out of England.
Yeah, without doubt, with their fucking the bombs that fucking Werner von Braun built, the fucking with the B1s and the B2s, and he fucking just killed fucking millions of people in fucking England.
You know what?
And
the
yet
difference
he
between
fucking
B1 and
built
B2
our
is?
fucking space with the paperclip, Project Paperclip.
You know what the difference between B1 and B2 is?
Is it two thumbs or one thumb in the butthole?
No, I think, and I'm honestly asking because I don't know for sure, but I think B1s just are just dropped straight down. B2s drop and
They
then they
had
have
wings.
propelled. They're
Yeah.
propelled. I think that's true. Don't quote me on that.
Let's kill more people more efficiently. That's what Werner von Braun was thinking.
Well, and then extrapolate that into the end of the war where we developed the atomic bomb and then dropped it on 2 cities and
Yes.
wiped the fuck out.
Yeah. Dude, if anybody could not be forgiven, it's like, look at the way Americans have acted upon Native Americans. We totally took them out. And then it's like, I don't know if you know about our fight with Mexico, but you know what? We baited them into a war and fucking took massive amounts of lands from them. And of course, the Louisiana Purchase was Napoleon's fucking exit out of his game so he can like have a good retirement program. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we've been like consuming massive amounts of land, and it's like, now it's like, it's ours. And we are the world
Manifest
superpower.
destiny.
But you know
yeah,
what?
I mean, that's kind of oversimplified, but yeah, it's manifest destiny.
But you know what,
we
it's like
wanted,
now-
we wanted to have sea to shining sea, you know, United States. That was our manifest destiny, and we got it. At what cost? I don't know. Yeah, a lot of Native Americans, but they were killing themselves already anyway.
What, it's
Like that's kind of never really talked about, right?
You know the worst thing about beating a country at war? We say it's like, you know what, you're gonna spend like 10% of your next GNP on your military, and everything else is gonna be concentrated on industry. And so when we beat Germany and we're like, guess what? You're not gonna have an army. You can have 1 million at tops, but it's like you're gonna invest in agriculture and industry. And now it's like, you know what they built? Germany built the best cars
And the best ovens.
It's like, you know what? Because they were putting, you know what the #1 company in the world is? It's the fucking United States Department of Defense. We're putting all our fucking money outward and to control people instead of investing it in science.
I gotta stop
I'm
you.
putting
'cause
my money in Dutch ovens.
You're rambling, but it's been a case since earliest recorded history, and it's a fact of war is that to the victor goes the spoils, right? To
Yeah.
the victor goes the spoils. We get everything from you, and you are now our subjects. And now this was the problem in World War II because the UK had a lot of they had a lot of colonies, right?
Yeah.
And they were running roughshod over those colonies. They were like,
Imperialistic,
they were keeping them
imperialistic, yeah.
poor and keeping UK rich. And Roosevelt told them, like, we'll come in and help you with this war, because you got to give this shit up, because this, you know, what you're doing is wrong as well.
Right.
I mean, that's
You know who the best was? The best of all these people were of this. What we're talking about.
light.
Check this out. It's like if you look at a globe and you see where the zero fucking like where everything starts from, right down the fucking British Empire. And dude, you know what? We still use that map to this day, where the fucking 0% longitude latitude line starts
Greenwich Mean Time.
Greenwich Mean Time.
GMT.
And it's like and everything spans from that. And dude, that shows you how powerful the fucking English Empire was
They
at
were,
one time.
and
The
they
sun
were,
never sets.
they were that powerful until the end of World War II.
Actually, in
And
modern
right.
times.
what's that?
Actually, in modern times, though. You know, that's only our recent history that we recognize the time zones and, you know.
But you got that Greenwich Mean
maps
Time,
and
so
so
I was gonna
forth.
drop that. Dude, that was a Vox video that I watched.
The
It
human
fascinated
history has
me.
been on the earth
Yeah.
for 2 million years.
Right.
It took 2 million, or over 2 million years, and it took 2 million years to even get 1 billion population. Then it took
But you know what?
200 years after that to increase the population sevenfold to
It seemed like
7.7 billion.
It seemed like England right
And that's
there.
despite all the plagues, all the wars that you talked about, all the millions and millions of deaths. So think natural order of things type situations. That's just what this planet does.
Right. You know, it seemed like with England though, it seemed like it's like they had this like perfect like it was a massive amount of land, but you know it was like what 60 or 70 miles on all sides. You had like Ireland down here, of course, but you know it's like this little hunk of land, which was like I don't know probably millions of square acreage, but at the same time it's like the temperate zone. You know, it's like it was never like really cold. It was never really hot, and they developed. All kinds of different agricultural issues. It's like, you know, I watched this one episode called the War Farm, where these people go and they reenact what the people had to go through during World War II. They kept putting rations on all the meat and all the grain. And you know what? As a farmer, you had a tremendous amount of stress put upon you, and you had to produce a certain amount of this. If
You
you
have
didn't,
to feed the soldiers. All right, let's
And you
get
had
on
to grow
that
hemp.
because what's that?
And you had to grow hemp.
But the
because it
government-
was strong,
yeah.
and it made rope, and it made
And
parachutes.
canvas.
Canvas, yeah.
no, you know what? It's like they grew something else. I think it was called periwinkle, and they
All right,
used that
forget
for
about
like
that. Forget about that.
Horse
We
shit.
only have like 10
Horse
minutes
shit.
left, and we did a deep dive on
Ellen?
on the history of the world there for a minute, on a very juvenile level. But season 18 of Ellen premiered, and Ellen started her show out like
Thank goodness.
this.
A new chapter. That's what Ellen promised today as she returned to her studio and spoke out for the first time about the controversy swirling around her.
This summer, there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show, and then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened.
She apologized and promised to do better.
The truth is, I am that person that you see on TV. I am also a lot of other things. Sometimes I get sad, I get mad, I get anxious, I get frustrated, I get impatient, and I am working on all of that. I am a work in progress, and if I've ever let someone down, if I've ever hurt their feelings, I am so sorry for that.
But one former Ellen producer isn't buying it. Hedda Muscat worked on The Ellen Show back in 2003.
Phony, liar, hypocrite. That's my reaction. She's known about this for 17 years. She's created this culture. I was there from day one. We were all petrified of her. She was not nice.
We've learned that after 14 weeks of hiatus, Ellen returned to her studio here at work.
All right, so I get it. Yeah, Ellen apologized, and the a lot of the underlings at Ellen's spot over there are not really having it. That's about what I thought, right?
Yeah, and I always assumed she was a bitch to begin with.
I did too.
I never thought any more of her.
Any person that goes that far to make you think that they're this happy-go-lucky person is at their core
Evil incarnate.
I mean, I don't like to use the word evil, because evil's one of those words. Like, you can't say, okay, you have like good and bad, but there's also
Good
like
and bad.
good and evil. Like, evil's like so far
Yeah.
over on the other side of the spectrum, there should be another word
Over and
for good. Like, there should be good and then, I guess, great. Why is it like great and evil? Like, that's a better, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say.
I know what you're saying though, evil is kind of harsh.
It's
to throw that moniker on
I
someone
think that
or
word is
something.
used way too much, right? Like, when people say
like the church lady?
ooh, a company is evil. Like,
Well, a lot of companies
they?
are evil.
Well, I don't know, are they?
Yeah.
Or are they just concerned about profits? And that's their motivation.
Overall, they're always concerned about profits, but
Right.
how they get there could be very, very, very evil. I mean, let's be honest. There's very questionable things that several, companies have been caught doing, let alone what they haven't been caught doing. We're talking about nuclear waste dumping, testing on animals, abusing children, bad work environments, hostile work environments. I mean, the list goes on and on.
And I'm not arguing with any of that. I just think people are way too quick to use that word evil.
Right. It's like, you know what you gotta think, it's like, I don't know who her producers was, it's like, but if you're working for a big production company like Fox Studios, you gotta think, it's like, you've probably got like 10 bosses, and we're all looking at the bottom line. How can we make money off the show? Because you know what, guess what? Ellen's not gonna be continuing next year if your numbers are negative. And you've gotta make sure all your ducks are in line, that your source, your show seems creative and unrehearsed. It's like, you know what? I never turned my back on Ellen. Not once.
That's your fault. You gotta live with
I
that.
never thought she was a bad person.
Ellen never
What he was
fooled me.
talking about earlier.
Ellen, it's like, have you ever been mad at Ellen?
I don't care for her.
I'm not mad at
I'm
her.
not mad at her
I
either.
just knew that it was a facade. I
Right.
knew the whole
I don't
time
care
that
for
she was not a nice person. Like, I could tell.
She makes shit work though.
But
Dude, you know what? It's like, do you want to fool yourself and say like that Elon Musk is a really cool guy and you'd like to hang out with him, or it's like he'd probably be an asshole to hang out with?
it's a really, really,
Ambiguous?
no, there's a big stench of body odor in this apartment right now, and I think it's coming from that blanket.
Yeah.
You smell that?
No.
I took it to my last Bukaki film though.
Your
A lot of
last
body odor.
Bukkake?
No.
That was like 2 days ago.
That was like 6 weeks ago.
Alright, so it's 6:55. We've got like 5 minutes to go. I've got a couple other things to talk about. You guys have anything you want to talk about?
Well, have we talked about Michael Jordan buying a
We did, didn't we?
NASCAR team?
Well, let's check that out. Michelle Martinelli.
athletes in the world, his presence in the sport is going to make a lot of noise. Jordan is teaming up with Denny Hamlin, a Jordan brand driver and a friend of his, to form a new NASCAR team.
Pals.
And although we don't know the name of the team or
Where
what the
the
number
fuck
will
are
be
they?
on the car, its lone driver will be Bubba Wallace, who signed a multi-year deal.
Lights go.
Bubba Wallace,
has
huge
driven
fan.
for Richard Petty
He's a good
Motorsports
driver.
in his first 3 full-time seasons at NASCAR's highest level. But despite an improved performance this season, he's
Look how
still
straight that
looking
goes
for
hair
his
is.
first career victory.
It's
He
ridiculously long.
previously said he
Yeah,
wants a
that's
famous
what you want
team
for a Bukaki
atmosphere,
film.
but also a competitive car. And he told For the Win he thinks the Steel can do both. He said, quote, There's still a lot on the table to iron out and sort through. So it's super important to me to feel part of the team. But it's also really important to go out and win races and be the best I can be. So as long as we set that up, there shouldn't be any reason why this field won't be successful. Wallace is the only black driver in the NASCAR Cup Series, and he skyrocketed to international stardom this summer because of his anti-racism efforts within and outside of NASCAR. He led the successful effort to get NASCAR to ban the Confederate flag, and he ran the Black Lives Matter case.
Who wants to get John Legend involved? Are you feeling that?
On the new team, Jordan will be a principal owner, and he said in a statement he's a lifelong NASCAR fan. But Jordan also recognized the impact this team could have on the mostly white sport and its recent efforts to be more inclusive. Jordan said in a statement, historically NASCAR has struggled with diversity, and there have been few black owners. The timing seemed perfect as NASCAR is evolving and embracing social change more and more. He continued, quote, I see this as a chance to educate a new audience and open more opportunities for black people in racing. In addition to those opportunities, Wallace should have the resources for a more competitive or even winning car. Between the sponsors he's expected to bring with him and anyone who wants to be eager to join the sport. NASCAR needs
This is why Michael Jordan is a genius. He saw the opportunity and he went for it,
Dude,
right?
guess what? Dude, who's not thinking about a Disney film based upon Michael Jordan's life and real life going back into an animated film and playing himself?
Okay, this is also not the first time that a famous black man
Space Jam.
has supported a black driver, right? Bill Cosby.
Oh, did he support fucking he supported the white guy, right?
No. No. It was hold on, I'll figure this out.
Right there. You know,
Dude, hey, did I ever tell you guys that I had a girlfriend that could not have, like, she couldn't climax or have an orgasm unless I rubbed Paul Newman salad dressing on her feet?
I've seen a movie like that. That's kind of crazy. That might have been one
Willie
of
T.
your
Ribs, okay?
Willie T. Ribs. Oh, Willie T.
Tastes so good, make you want to smack your mouth.
We'll go
Was
out
that
on
back
this.
in the 60s?
I think 70s.
Deal with some challenges for one reason only.
Muhammad Ali.
All white sport.
Dude, talk about an all-white sport, huh? These are all moonshiners.
Here's the irony of this, is that this was in the 70s or 80s, so this is 40 years ago. We're talking about the exact same thing, right? Black people breaking into driving NASCAR, like we're
breaking
It's almost like Jimi Hendrix.
What are you saying?
Freudian
Black people
slip.
breaking into.
Whoa, no, that's not what I meant. Don't cancel me. Don't cancel me.
No,
You
it's
know
like,
one thing I don't
MJ, it's
understand?
almost like the first time Jimi Hendrix picked up a guitar and said, let me show you white people how to do this. And
Nothing like
But
all
this-
the white people are like, yeah,
This is
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying. We're talking about the same thing.
It's nothing
Here we
Right.
go.
Do you agree with me about Jimi Hendrix picking up the guitar from the white man?
No, this is completely different.
One thing I
No one
don't
can beat me.
understand.
You came back knowing I just accomplished something that very few Americans have, and no one would give him a shot.
This would be a better movie than Days of Thunder.
Think about that time period we were in the 70s. There was still a lot of segregationists.
I get a phone call from a promoter in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're gonna get some attention down here, and you're the guy that's gonna bring it. There was death threats. If this nigger races in this race, he might not leave alive. It probably felt like it's me against the world. You want a reason not to like me? I'm gonna give you one.
He wasn't afraid on the track, he was afraid on the track.
His fourth victory in the Trans Am Series. He has a winner of the Texas Challenge Trans Am.
If you want me in your sport, then beat me.
I like that.
My ultimate goal is IndyCar.
There was a lot of guys on that
That's the
team
next
did
step.
not want to see
Open
Willie in the
wheels,
race.
NASCAR.
I knew he was an executioner.
With those cars, you average $1 million
We're
a
out
race.
of money and out of everything.
Do you think he'll get in? What do you, I mean, just a gut feel, are they gonna make it or not?
It's so hard.
I got to turn one for all
That's super serious.
I
more exciting than racing. This is the next best thing to heaven.
I like the sex Olympics.
They called me uppity, and I loved it.
Yeah. And the thing is, they didn't just call him uppity, they called him uppity N-word.
Oh, dude,
Right?
that's
He-
fucking
he's
beautiful.
like, yeah, bring it at me, but you know, you can't beat me on the racetrack. So, but here's the sad thing, is that we're doing the same thing 40 years
Yeah.
later. We're doing the same fucking thing.
Yeah. How do we fix it?
I don't pretend to know. I don't pretend to know. I think we have to stop looking at each other as different races. We're all the same race.
Right.
Like-
Let's stop worrying about the melatonin in our skin.
Melanin, not melatonin. We had this problem before.
Ebony.
And melatonin helps you sleep.
Right.
Live together in
Yeah. You know, so maybe I'm saying, yeah, I was definitely saying the wrong word. Melatonin, yeah. Melanin, yeah.
Melatonin.
Yeah, which basically just means nothing.
I prefer melons. And on that note,
Yeah, I'm like, I'll take some melons. I'll take some white melons. I'll take some black melons.
You're a
I'll take some-
cantaloupe.
I'll take some in-between melons. I don't care. Let's quit talking about race.
You're a cantaloupe.
Let's quit talking about it. Let's just all get along. Like
Right.
this is
Right.
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Marching down the street and demanding people put up their fists, that's fascism.
Cruising down the street in my 6'4".
All right, what are we going out on?
Rocking the bitches, plucking the
Oh, it's
boys.
7:03. We're already done.
All right.
You want to go on anything?
213, baby. In the books.
Good evening, you lovely lunatics. Dude, where's my dog?
Viz up your ass, you know.
Right here.
All right. So Lucy going out.
Peace out.
This might be our last podcast.
Why is that?
She's old as fuck. She can't move around that way.
No, she
I don't know, she smells good. Begging it. Couldn't be begging me. He's like, clean your fucking dog, dude. 'Cause she fucking smells like a bag of open ass.